Hey y'all. Mm. I want to say happy Monday. And of course, it's a happy Monday simply because the Lord woke us up this morning and started us on our way. But I'm going to be real and say that these little 2 day weekends are just absolute trash. Um, I need, to be honest, I would love to work 3 days a week and have 4 days off if I was just to keep it 100. And of course, that's probably a little unrealistic. Um, But yeah, a good 4 days so that Friday could at least be a full day off. Or to be honest, I would love to have Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday off. Something so you got like Wednesday to get your stuff done, then you got the whole Saturday, Sunday off or whatever. But anyway, happy Monday. Welcome once again to the Let's Talk About Life podcast. Y'all, I'm gonna be honest and just say your girl has been struggling to get up here on this camera and record. And it's due to a couple things, right? For one, I'm having a lot of headaches lately. I think part of it is due to it's either my diet, which is not terrible these days for the most part, or it's my hair. I'm not sure. So, if anybody knows a good loctician, and by good loctician, I'm not necessarily talking about somebody that do all of the styles and all of the things, but somebody that works very well, that's like gentle on the scalp because I'm very tender-headed. Um, and then somebody who specializes in maintaining healthy locks, I guess. Um, because maybe that's it. I'm always, pulling and tugging on my head like I was recording at first on Sundays, but typically because I'm going to church, I was, at least, I twist the front quick and go. But that's why I'm thin on this side. Well, you can't really see it in this light, but when I be doing my little videos in the car and the sun dissatisfaction and things like the quality of the videos. I want y'all to know when I record these videos, especially now that I'm just recording directly on the computer, when I record these videos and I'm watching myself talk and it's working just fine, and then I watch it back and it's skipping and buffering and all of that, I be pissed. I'm pissed, right? And it's irritating. And I mean, I do have some things in the workings to make that quality better. Um, but a lot of that is the unknown for me, so it just gets very uncomfortable because I don't want to spend my money on something that's not going to work. I don't want to do something and then end up in the same position. So like I said, I've been a little bit wary, honestly. Between that and the struggle that I constantly have with the Lord about having to do everything by myself, like I'd be like, Lord, I need help. I need help. I need somebody to help me do some things because, there's a lot that goes into having a truly successful podcast. Um, and I feel like my initial vision for the podcast was me and a co-host. Because you have that, like, even if you don't have guests, um here I go looking out the window. Even if you don't have guests, you have that back and forth between you and the other person. So um yeah, that's been kind of slowing me down. And then sometimes, girl, I just don't be knowing what I want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Not that I don't have anything to talk about, but it's like, do anybody want to hear that? But one thing I will say is, I was telling one of the brothers at church, I saw this thing. I saw this man on social media, and essentially, him and his wife were a power couple. I wish I remembered his name. Him and his wife were a power couple. They were business owners. They worked together. They just had they had some great things going on. Any of the pictures that I've seen of them, if they weren't working together, they were vacationing, they were just living their best lives. The wife ended up having multiple strokes and a brain aneurysm that burst in her head. And she ended up being in a coma for like 2 or 3 months. The doctors made it clear to the husband that, she probably wasn't going to make it. And even if she did, she was going to be a vegetable. She was going to be nothing like she had been before. So the lady did make it. And he has obviously dedicated his life to taking care of his wife and all of the things, like truly being the epitome of, through sickness and health and all of the things we vow when we get married. He has committed to taking care of her. Excuse me, y'all. Well, I'm trying to drink the coffee all hot. Lord. Oh no, that is. I had some yogurt this morning with some protein granola, but it's like granola made out of nuts because I can't eat the oatmeal. And I don't know how it's settling. We're gonna see. Anyway, because I get distracted so easily. But so the lady, she's not a vegetable. She doesn't walk. So like she's in the chair and she's working on mobility in her limbs and stuff like that. And they had said like she was never going to talk again and all of that. And I had seen episodes of her maybe saying one random word or whatever, but this particular video that I was watching, the lady was trying to say so much. She was saying, I want, I want, I want. She was trying to, you could tell that her mind was working faster than her body would allow her to move. And she was trying to like carry on a full conversation. She was blinking. You could tell that she was trying to say all of these things and she could not get it out. And the man was just praying over her and he was speaking in tongues and he was just thanking the Lord that she was even able to try to do these things that the doctors had told him that she was never going to do. I say all of that to say I didn't drag my little tail up here today because how dare I sit here and say I got a headache? I don't feel like getting up here. I don't know what to talk about, and I can talk. And there's nothing holding me back mentally, physically, emotionally from coming up here and speaking my mind. Like watching that lady struggle to do what we do naturally and without thinking. Like I was sitting on the side of my bed crying because I was like, Lord, I won't even say we. I'd be so ungrateful for the things that I have that come easy to me. I'd be so ungrateful and always thinking about the next thing and um I need to do this and what about that and this is the one thing you didn't do and such like that. But I don't be sitting around truly being grateful for the things that I have, the voice that I have, the fact that I am able to speak, I can form thoughts and they come out right away, whatever the case might be. Like it seems so small, but it's so huge. And I mean, yeah, I literally just had to take a moment and one, just thank God for just making me able bodied right. In the same breath of saying, Lord, why I gotta do it by myself? At least I can. At least I'm not dependent on somebody to, feed me, clothe me, take me everywhere, heck, wipe my butt, whatever the case might be, because I'm sure that man is doing all of that for his wife, right? So yeah, that was huge to me. And again, it's why I didn't drag my little self up here today. Um, yeah, I ain't even gonna talk about that no more because stuff like that makes me super emotional because, like I said, the way that life be life, and you know what I mean, the way that we are, the way that we're made, like I said, we are all, most of us, whether we want to admit it or not, we are very self-centered, right? Because it's us. Me, myself, and I, as my voice, my thoughts, my everything. I'm thinking about me. I'm thinking about how it affects me. I'm thinking about what I'm doing in the world. I'm thinking we naturally only think about ourselves a lot of times. And we think about how everything affects us and what we don't have and what we want and whatever the case might be. And realistically speaking, there's somebody out there that would pray to be exactly where I am. You understand what I'm saying? There's somebody who would pray and thank the Lord to be exactly where I am today. And to be quite honest, I've said it before, it's times that I didn't pray to be where I am. It's times that, like, if I look back, If I look back on the girl that I was, there was a time when every time I saw a picture of me in my early 20s, I would be head laid to the side sleep because I was bone tired back then. I was in straight survival mode. I was always trying to figure out a way to make it. I was always at work. I was always trying to make ends meet. I was always, always, always pushing myself to the limit. And I can be honest and say, like, life is not like that for me anymore. So, like, you know what I mean? Like I said, I get so caught up sometimes in the one thing that ain't right or the couple things that still need to be done. And I don't necessarily take time to be grateful and understand how blessed I truly am. Um, Again, moving on from that because I don't want to be sitting up here crying. Yesterday I had a true mm, hold on y'all, because I feel like when I first started drinking this coffee this morning, I was like, she ain't hitting. But as soon as I get up here on this camera, it's always good. Anyway, I was just thinking yesterday morning when I was getting ready for church. Me and baby girl was getting ready for church, and she was rushing me and all the things because she get up, she want to drink tea, and then she want to hurry up and go to church. Whether she got her clothes on, whether her hair's done, any of the things, we ain't ate nothing. She keep on talking about she want to go to church, and I'd be scrambling because even when I feel like I done got up early, I ain't got up early enough to get us both ready and to have time to ease into the morning and all of the things. Um, as I was getting ready, I was finishing up her hair. I was rushing to do my hair. Um, and she didn't want to eat nothing for breakfast, but then she kept saying, Grandma, you gonna eat a yogurt? Grandma, you gonna eat a yogurt? And I was like, okay, well, I guess I gotta eat the yogurt for you to eat it. You gotta eat something before you go. So I'm rushing to do all of that. And then I remember because y'all I moved and my son been using my car. So typically they go head on to church and I just walk down because I live on the same street as the church. And I was just thinking like, Lord, it's raining out here. I done left the umbrella in the car like a dummy. I'm gonna see if I can call my boy and see if he can leave early enough so that he can drop his daddy and his brother off at church and then come and get me and baby girl because I don't want us to have to walk in the rain. Almost immediately, like I said, I'm still getting ready. My niece called me, where you at, girl? I'm about to pull up. Oh, well, not where I'm at. She knew where I was at, but the house. So I'm okay, boom. I can just catch a ride with her because again, we right by the church. Then she called back and said, "Girl, my car ain't starting. I don't know what's going on." And I'm like, "Oh Lord!" But again, whatever. I'm immediate because I'm very solution based. Call George and let him know that you need to ride to church because she stays close by my house. He can get you to church, and then I'm already thinking it's gonna take us all 2 trips to get home, but we can make it work. Me and baby girl can come back to my house. Um, George be super tired, so he wouldn't be able to do the back and forth drive, but she could drop them off, come get me, and then I could drop her back off at home, plus help her figure out what's going on with her car if need be. But anyway, in that moment, um, she ended up texting me almost right back and said, "Girl, this car didn't start. I don't know what's going on. I'm on my way." I said, "Okay, cool." But in that moment, I'm still getting ready. So then another church calls me, one of my homies on the praise team. And she calls me and she just like, "Hey, Chad, I seen that it's drizzling out here, and I wanted to see if you needed a ride." Why am I even emotional? I need to get myself together. And she was like, "Girl, I just wanted to see if you wanted me to pick you up. And, because I know y'all be walking down here, da 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 da." And I said, "Girl, you know what?" I said, "I really appreciate you calling me and seeing if I needed a ride, but my niece is getting ready to pick me up and all that." But y'all, when I got off the phone, I ended up just sitting there. I was in the bathroom and I was like, you know what? I love my church family. And I never thought that I never even thought that I would be close enough with anybody at anybody's church to even say I love them. But I really do. Um, yes, I love my church family. Like being able to call my first lady and say, "Look, I just need to talk this out because I need to make sure I'm handling something in a sound mind." And to be able to have that conversation with her. You know what I'm saying? Like outside of being in this church, I've never done that before because I would be more so worried about somebody like being in my business or you know what I'm saying? And to be honest, the great thing about it is I talked with her. She gave me advice. Of course, she told me to pray on it some more to make sure that God got the glory and however I handled the situation. She never came back and said, "Hey girl, what happened?" And to me, that is amazing because it's not, look, I'm in your business and trying to see what had happened. I trust that you are good. Yeah, I mean that might not make sense, but like, sometimes people stay up with what you got going on because they acting like they care, but they really just want to know, they want to know your business or know what happened, but it wasn't even about that. She gave me what I needed and I'm sure she trusted it. If I needed to come back to her and talk about anything, I would have done so. So absolutely amazing. Um like I said, something as small as somebody just saying, like, you didn't ask me, right? But I just thought about you on my way in, and I know that you be walking, so I wanted to see if you needed a ride. I'm gonna be honest. That is who I am to people. People are usually not that for me. I'm always the one that's helping somebody out. I'm always the one that somebody can call for advice. I am starting to, I don't want to say see the fruits of my labor, but some of those things are starting to be returned. And it's all by people that I never would have expected, to be honest. And it's an amazing thing. And then even getting to church and preparing for church and preparing to sing for praise and worship and all of that. And um, telling somebody that I'm a little bit nervous. Saying, girl, you gonna hug me tight. You understand what I'm saying? And get this love and get this reassurance because if you don't have faith that you can get out there and do what you need to do, I got enough faith for both of us. It's just, or even just, mm, whew, hold on, y'all. I'm just slightly overwhelmed. Um, I'm slightly overwhelmed with emotion simply because, like I said, these are things that, hmm, these are things that I don't expect from people. Um, Even though I always say, like, okay, Lord, where is me for me? Where are the people who just kind of show up for me without me having to do anything for them? You know what I'm saying? And I'm especially overwhelmed in this moment because I'm just now realizing that that is the me for me. That is in those moments, people showing up for me the way I've showed up for others without me having to ask, right? Um, yeah, yeah. I feel like I don't even want to talk about that no more because I never have an intention to get up here and cry. I'm very sensitive and I'm a crybaby, but I've done more crying on this little podcast than I have in real life, probably in years, because ain't nobody got time for that, which is actually what the series that my pastor is preaching. I'm gonna wrap this up soon, but in speaking on that, uh one of the homies prayed. One of the homies preached yesterday, and her title was When You Pray. And it's just a couple things that I want to point out that was so powerful to me. She spoke about how there are three words that hinder our prayer, right? Those words are if, maybe, and unworthy. Now, the biggest one out of the three of those for me is that if, right? She spoke to how people said, Or people say like, Lord, if your will be done, right? Which I'm gonna be honest, I know I didn't say that because I thought that's what we were supposed to say, right? Because it's not so much what we want you to, Lord, it ain't, Lord, I know I'm asking you to do these things, but I actually want your will to be done. Whatever it is that you have for me, that's what I want to be done, right? Because I wanted to be right. But I thought that saying like that, if your will be done, was the way to say it. But it's like, why wouldn't his will be done? You understand what I'm saying? And what it made me realize is we be blocking our prayers before they even get anywhere because we don't believe it. If we gotta say like if we say if, that's because you don't believe that it's going to happen. And you're essentially like doubting the power, one, that your prayers have, and you're doubting the fact that God can do it because it's kind of like if it was, oh, I guess almost like, when we be like, well, hopefully, ain't no hopefully, it's already done. Um, and I'll give two examples of that. One is this particular position that I am in right now. I remember when I applied for this position, I applied for three positions at the same time. And I knew without a shadow of a doubt that the Lord was going to give me one of the positions. Now, this one that I ended up in, this is the one that I wanted the most. This is the actual one that I wanted. The other two, I was like, I can work with those. It is one of the few times ever in life that I can remember. So, like, I'll be honest, I did my phone interview for this position and it was absolute trash. It should have been simple, but I felt like the recruiter with me. She was not impressed with me. She was not impressed with the fact that I don't look great on paper, like I don't have a degree and all of these things. And so I didn't really look good to her. I could tell by the questions she was asking me, like she kept saying stuff like, "Is there anything more that you could say?" Like what I was saying wasn't good enough. And a friend of mine, another coworker, was applying for the same position. And it's funny, I walked away from the phone interview like, ooh. And then I talked to her and was like, "Girl, how did it go?" And she was like, "Oh, it went great." By the end of the day, I was having a whole meltdown, okay? Because I felt like I had dropped the ball and I had ruined it before I got started. But I remember praying that weekend, Lord, I need you to give me another chance. Once you give me this next chance, I'm going to knock it out of the park. Like I spent the weekend thinking of all of the things that made me great, remembering exactly who I am and why I end up in the rooms and the places that I end up and all of that, because I couldn't think about it on the call. But the one thing that stands out to me for somebody who always has a lot of self-doubt and obviously negates a lot of the things that could happen in this particular season of waiting, which I ended up having to wait a little bit longer than was comfortable for me as I went through the interview process. I prayed, I manifested, I spoke this position into existence like I was firm on it. I mean, even when I started getting the inkling of something negative, it was like I pushed it away like that. Like, and honestly, my mind isn't always that powerful. Like I'm not always that strong to push all of that stuff out. So when I got the position, I was like, wow, wow. You understand what I'm saying? I asked for this and I knew that it was already mine and I stood firm on that. And that's why I got it because the Lord's will was done. And it was because I knew from the beginning that it was mine because by me messing up on that first interview, I knew it was him. They gave me the position, right? I just had to believe, right? That's the first example. The second example of that is a while ago, I saw this thing, this little animated thing on social media. And before I talk about it, one of the things that Dominique was talking about was she was saying that when Daniel did his Daniel fast, one, she was saying that technically when you fast, you're supposed to fast until whatever you're fasting for, you get an answer for that. So like let's say you've been praying for clarity and you decide to fast to get clarity on a certain subject, maybe this new job. You're supposed to fast until you get that clarity. Not say, oh, I'm fasting for 4 days and now I'm hungry, so I need to, I'm gonna go ahead and eat. Right? If you don't have the clarity after you finish, you need to go back and fast again, which I thought was absolutely powerful because I've never done a real fast. I'll be honest. I've fasted with the church, like, at the beginning of the year, and we did a water fast one time for a weekend and I still got some work to do on that. But anyway, she said all of that because she was speaking about the Daniel fast, and she was saying how Daniel was fasting for something, right? And essentially, it took the 21 days that he fasted. That's how long it took for That's how long it took for the angels to bring him the answers and the clarity that he needed. Because essentially, our prayers are commands. Our prayers go up, they go to the angels kick into gear, they get to working, they take it up to God, he send whatever back with them. Now, what ends up happening is there's always, in this part, I am recapping very loosely. What happens is you got the demons, the devil, whoever fighting and holding these angels back, trying to keep them from getting to us with the answers or whatever, right? So it's almost like, okay, boom. It took me 21 days to get back to you with the answer from God or whatever, the clarity. So that's why you end up having to fast for the 21 days. Now, one of the things she talks about is us learning to pray with confidence and authority so that at some point the angels ain't got to fight the demons and all of that to get back through. They can go get what you need and they can bring it on back to you expeditiously, if you will. Now, the thing that I saw on social media, it was this man, like I said, it was an animated thing. Something that happened with his car. It showed his car, it had the little smoke coming up, like he's sitting there, he's thinking about it. His car done died or whatever. So he's sitting there and he's like this, and he's praying to God, and in the little bubble, the little conversation bubble in his head, the mind bubble, thought bubble, it shows that he need a new car. So as he's thinking that thought and he's praying on it, you see the angel come down and grab that prayer request, right? The angel goes up. You see him, he go up to, you know what I'm saying? He go up to God, he discuss whatever. Now, of course, this is animated, so now it's technically like, I can't remember if it was like, here go the money to get the car fixed or if it was a car, whatever. But now the angel has gotten whatever blessing um for the person. In the meantime, the person is sitting there, he's stressed out, he looking like, woe is me, don't nothing ever work right. You know what I'm saying? All of the things, you just kind of see him waiting and looking at his time, like, because we always on that divine time, and he's looking at his time, he doing this, and he's just kind of, you can tell that he's essentially frazzled, like, I asked this from the Lord, it ain't here yet. So this is what ends up happening. Here comes the angel going back through all of this, like, all of the trials and tribulations of coming back to this person with the blessing. He comes back down into the guy's house. He comes into the house, he got the blessing, the money, the car, whatever. Now he looking around like this. He don't see the guy. Now, off on the side somewhere, now that you see the guy, he looked like he in a forest or whatever. And I'm assuming it was supposed to be like hell because it looked all dark and creepy. And maybe it was flames. Maybe I'm making that up. But in the middle of that, you have a person with fear written like on their side, and you have another person with doubt on their side, and you got the guy bent over like this, and they are just whipping him, and they are whipping him, and they are whipping him. And essentially, when I saw that, I was like, oh my God. So what I took from that was, okay, you asked for this, the angel came and grabbed it. It's going to take some time because we're working on God's divine timing. Now, the angel go and do what they need to do. They bring it on. Time they get back to you because you didn't had to wait instead of you just believing that it's done. You didn't let the fear and the self-doubt and all of that get you down. Now you so busy stuck in that. By the time he get back to you, the angel get back to you with the blessing, you ain't even here to receive it. And that's what flashed in my head when she was saying that. That is what flashed in my head. And I was like, oh my gosh, because we sitting here going, oh, my prayer ain't come true. Are you still praying on it? Are you just going to keep praying? Or are you going to get discouraged and just walk away and be like, oh, the Lord ain't think about me. Because boom, you ruined it. Just in saying those words and putting it out into the atmosphere, by the time that angel get back to you with what it is that you asked for, you over here being whipped by the self-doubt and the fear and the shame and the feelings of unworthiness and the ifs and the maybes and all of that. And like I said, that if that ain't powerful to nobody else, that is so powerful to me. It just goes to show, for one, I feel like the one area that I need to tighten up before the Lord sends me my husband is my prayer life, because Um, I know that is how I'm going to show up in that relationship. Whereas in other relationships, I have been the breadwinner. I have been the one with all of the answers, the solution finder, the whatever I needed to be, right? I know that in this God found relationship, I know that I am going to be with somebody who I will be able to submit to, and who I will like my strongest contribution in that relationship is going to be the way that I am able to pray for my man and pray over my family and pray for strength and help push him towards greatness or whatever the case might be. So like it was extra powerful for me because I know that I mean, I've been praying. I'm a praying woman. I'm not, I'm not at the point of jumping up and praying in front of the congregation and all of the things and all of that. But as far as in my own home and in my own space of comfort, I am a praying woman. Now it's just time to take those prayers to the next level and really solidify them and make sure that every prayer that I send out is a prayer of confidence and authority, right? So that I can cover this new relationship in our lives and whatever is to come in our businesses and our podcasts and all of the things. I am able to cover that in a way that I have not necessarily been able to do before because, like I said, that's going to be my strongest contribution. My relationship with God and who He has helped me grow to be is going to be what I bring to the table, not my job, not the money that I make, um, not the fact that I can rebuild furniture, I can do all the, and anything I put my mind to, I can do, right? But that's not going to be what I'm going to need in this next relationship. It is literally going to be how I can call on the Lord and how I am able to stand 10 toes down and pray and war for my family in the spiritual realm. So, y'all, that's pretty much it. I'd have been up here for a good 30 something minutes. I ain't gonna hold you no longer. As I always say, if you made it this long, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you. Um, well, I love everybody anyway. Even if I don't seem like it. I'm nice. I'm just not friendly. If you know me, you know what that means. But yeah, everybody be blessed. Have an amazing day. Have an amazing week. And be better than you were yesterday. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. Bye.